Hello, I'm Todd Staples, president of the Texas Oil and Gas Association. I'm excited to share with you TXOGA's 2022 Annual Energy and Economic Impact Report, detailing the industry's continued and unmatched economic impact, our state's global energy leadership, and some key issues that must be addressed for Texas to continue its exceptional leadership position. I want to begin by saying I continue to be awestruck by the extraordinary role oil and natural gas plays in our state and national economy. From the hundreds of thousands of jobs to the everyday products that are created from oil and gas, the industry continues to make modern life not only possible, but undeniably better. And the benefits manifest themselves in a variety of ways, ranging from national security to personal safety to what we are here to discuss today, economic vitality. Fiscal year 2022 was a record breaking blockbuster year for tax revenue from the oil and natural gas industry, money that will go to work for the people of Texas and that drives the Texas economy. The Texas oil and natural gas industry paid $24.7 billion in state and local taxes and state royalties, by far the highest total in Texas history, shattering the previous record of just over $16 billion set in 2019 by a whopping 54%. Production taxes and royalties to state funds more than doubled over fiscal year 2021. Production taxes grew by 116%, and royalties to state funds increased by 102%. In fact, oil and natural gas production taxes exceed $10 billion for the first time in Texas history. State and local revenue from oil and natural gas production, pipelines, refineries, and LNG facilities translates to an astonishing $67 million every 24 hours that pays for public schools, universities, roads, first responders, and other essential services. In 2022, 99% of the state's oil and natural gas royalties were deposited into the Permanent School Fund and the Permanent University Fund, which support Texas public education. Each fund received $2.1 billion, more than double the amounts from last year. Texas Rainy Day Fund received $1.5 billion from oil and natural gas production taxes in fiscal year 2022. Since its inception in 1987, the Rainy Day Fund has received over $28.1 billion from oil and natural gas production taxes. Since 2007, when TXOGA first started compiling this data, the Texas oil and natural gas industry has paid more than $203.4 billion in state and local taxes and state royalties, a figure that does not include the hundreds of billions of dollars in payroll for some of the highest paying jobs in the state, nor does it include the taxes paid on office buildings and personal property and the enormous economic ripple effect that benefits other sectors of the economy. In TXOGA's 2022 Annual Energy and Economic Impact Report, there are several graphics that detail additional employment and economic information, including the fact that 443,000 Texans have a job in the oil and natural gas industry, in addition to the 2.2 additional jobs created for every direct job. In total, the industry supported more than 1.4 million jobs in fiscal year 2022. When direct and indirect impacts are considered, the Texas oil and natural gas industry supported over $560 billion, more than 30% of the total private sector Texas gross state product in calendar year 2021, the latest year for which this data is available. As we detail the enormous economic impact of the oil and natural gas industry for all Texans, we recognize that many parts of the world are struggling for reliable, affordable, and secure energy. We also recognize many of the struggles are a result of man-made choices, decisions, policies, and actions that have had dire consequences for families and communities with unmet needs. At this moment, the world understands energy security is a necessity, not a luxury. And our allies are literally knocking at our door in energy need. In addition to cementing America's energy security, Texas oil and natural gas producers, pipelines, refiners, and exporters are playing an essential role in delivering stability in the form of affordable, reliable energy to our trade partners, even in times of continued global unrest. Part of our state's ability to deliver at home and abroad has to do with the sheer volume of natural gas produced here, our vast and growing infrastructure, and our expanding export capabilities, especially when it comes to liquefied natural gas or LNG. On the production side, Texas produced 31.8 billion cubic feet per day of natural gas in October 2022. Texas produces 26% of the total natural gas produced in the United States. Those production figures are only projected to grow as our LNG export facilities further expand as global buyers seek out our reliable, affordable, and secure energy supplies. This growth could push the North American natural gas market to triple in size over the next decade, according to research firm Wood Mackenzie. Increased use of natural gas is the number one reason U.S. power sector carbon dioxide emissions have gone down, even as power demand has gone up. And Texas LNG helps other nations around the world reduce their emissions. Clearly, Texas has the natural resources, manpower, and infrastructure to make the world more energy secure. Policies and politics in Texas and across the nation will determine if we can continue to be that trusted ally or if nations will have to look elsewhere. We need bold energy policy leadership, not political obstructionism. The United States oil and natural gas industry continues to make unmatched investments that have positioned our nation as the global leader in energy and environmental progress. In fact, no nation is doing more to protect and improve the environment than the United States, with the oil and natural gas industry leading the way through investment in innovation. Through participation in industry-led initiatives, Texas oil and natural gas companies will continue to prioritize collaboration in developing solutions to achieve environmental progress and meet energy demand. Policies that encourage responsible development of our natural resources, sharing of these resources with the world, and global environmental progress are proven and possible to coexist. As the legislature takes up the business of Texans, we recommend 5 policy priorities that will advance Texas energy leadership. Number 1, economic development policy that makes Texas competitive for major projects. Our country is too reliant on other nations for the product we need. We can shore up our supply chain and strengthen national security. Limited temporary property tax discounts make sense because projects won't come here without them, and we need to use tools that other states and countries are using to attract businesses to Texas. Number 2, a policy framework for carbon capture and sequestration for Texas to be the leader in this emerging space. Companies worldwide are planning carbon capture and sequestration projects with projected spending in the trillions of dollars. Other states are ahead of us, but with the right policy, Texas can lead. And policy will enable landowners to capture a revenue stream from not only their surface, but their subsurface by clarifying ownership. Number 3, electricity market redesign policy that keeps our grid reliable and rates affordable for consumers. Any plan adopted must not shift risk to consumers and away from providers. The legislature can take action that will spur new dispatchable generation growth to keep up with Texas' growing demand and ensure reliability services insist that generators are paid for real-time performance. This will increase market revenues available to support new investment while addressing reliability. 4, policies that fund our key regulatory agencies, including the Railroad Commission and TCEQ, as well as funding for the important work of TexNet at UT's Bureau of Economic Geology. And number 5, we need to protect against policies that would adversely impact the growth of industry. For example, we need policy that serves businesses and homeowners who are unified in wanting to continue to lower their property tax burden. We also must avoid punitive regulatory and tax schemes that are thinly veiled attempts to slow growth. We are closely watching legislation as it is filed and will expand our priorities as needed. In addition to these priorities, There are a few challenges that the industry continues to address head on, including seismicity issues, takeaway capacity to keep up with production, and produce water solutions. It's also important to note the considerable headwinds we face from Washington, which have discouraged exploration and production, canceled pipelines, and encouraged divestment from oil and natural gas. These actions hurt American consumers and weaken our national security, which is inextricably linked to energy security. Just as growth is not guaranteed, policy can promote prosperity or can hinder it. Just look at California with a big deficit as compared to Texas with a huge surplus. A bright future is Texas to lose. We can continue to outpace other states and even countries with economic opportunity, job growth, and capital investment, or we can forfeit the game by sitting some of our best players on the sidelines. We look forward to working with our lawmakers as they embrace opportunities to keep Texas strong, strengthen communities, and grow local economies.